Welcome to the Sixth Man. Chris Draper and my late co-host coming all the way from Danville, so he's got a little bit of an excuse. Brandon Burnett will be on in just a second. We have a few topics we're going to talk about today. As you can tell, I'm excited once again because it's the NBA season. NBA Finals going on right now. My prediction came true, even though I reneged on my previous prediction, but that's what the media can do. It's fun. It's entertaining. We can renege on everything and still be right. I can be contradictory, eat some humble pie, all at the same time, and it doesn't even matter because guess what? I was still right that the Warriors would win. Yep, and that just happened.
Oh, what? Hey. I watched the show, and you said the Warriors aren't going to win this series.
I sure did. They were down 3-1, and that was a whole week of time. But I did say, hold on, I did say if anybody could pull it off,
they could.
it would be the Warriors.
Well, yeah, with defending champions, and they show the heart of a champion, big time on Saturday night. Saturday night, I texted you after the game.
Yeah.
I said this series is over. They're winning Game 7.
Yeah.
I have to say I was surprised. The Thunder really played well in the first half of that game, Game 7. But then after that, the three-pointers was the difference.
Yeah. That was the only difference,
That was
Brandon.
the difference.
They got outworked. They got out-rebounded.
Yes.
They got out-hustled, outplayed, whatever you want to call it, all-around game except for the third quarter of Game 7.
That's right.
Where they just went through a mental debacle, where everything ruptured for them, and Golden State went on a tear with Klay Thompson and Steph Curry. Then you get in the fourth quarter, you still outscore Golden State, but it's just not enough because that barrage of threes, they were like, forget your defense. Doesn't matter if you double-team us. Doesn't matter what you do. I mean, you got Klay Thompson coming off a screen in between Steven Adams and Kevin Durant, pulls up in both their faces and knocks down the tray.
Well, the thing is, Durant was very disappointing in this series.
Yes.
Westbrook.
It's Russell Westbrook's team.
Russell Westbrook really, I felt bad for him at times because I felt like he was really doing a lot out there.
He ran out of gas, man. What more can you ask for? It's like the mini LeBron. You getting triple-doubles by the time third quarter rolls around, and then Billy Donovan's not sitting you out. Kevin Durant's not giving you enough help. Andre Robinson going back to his normal self. Serge Ibaka, too. Steven Adams is getting out-rebounded in the post by Klay Thompson coming down there to get a rebound. You serious?
Yeah, I mean, it was so crazy because, I'm going to go back to Saturday night because that's when the series turned. That's when the series turned over to the Warriors with 5 minutes left.
Are you talking about that glorious night where Steph Curry picked Kevin Durant twice?
Yep.
Are you talking about that? And then, and I'm going to let you get to yours, but that
fine.
brings me to this topic. Kevin Durant and Russell Westbrook shouldn't have been talking ish. They shouldn't have been saying anything after that game where he was picked twice. They said something about Steph Curry's defense. If we all remember that, they were talking about Steph Curry doesn't have any defense. He doesn't play the best point guards. And although that may be true, that showed that you guys didn't have any amount of mental toughness. Kevin Durant, you shouldn't have said anything because he picked you twice at the end of the game to close it out. Russ, he was entitled to say things, but you just lost. So you can't talk about anybody. You got to go back the next game and improve. So with that being said, that showed me after that game their mental toughness, that they did not have it, that Golden State has always had it, and the mental tougher team will win every time because they will resort to doing exactly what they need to do. They don't shy away from what they've done like Oklahoma City did in those last final minutes of the game where you see Durant chucking threes and you see Westbrook chucking threes and Durant chucking one where he's looking for the foul like he normally does, but he doesn't get it called, and you see them arguing with each other because Andre Robinson won't take a shot. You see all that? No mental toughness.
The Warriors also played really good defense down the stretch, especially of Game 6.
Yes.
Game 7 too, but Game 6 especially because, the Thunder were really, really in control of that game.
Yeah.
Game 6.
They're in control of this whole series.
I didn't feel like they were in control of Game 7.
Yeah.
Because it was on the road.
Still favorite tempo.
Yeah. Because I just kind of felt like it was like somebody's going to turn a switch.
You felt the whole time.
I knew it was going to happen. I knew it was coming. And it came.
Even when they were down 10, you felt the whole time like Golden State was going to win. It's like they're just missing shots. Eventually, these shots are going to fall because it's on their home floor. They're used to these goals. And all of a sudden, you get that outpour from Steph and Klay. And they finally turn up, and you see that the guys that they have been all season, they're still there.
I mean, Klay Klay, if it wasn't
MVP of this series.
If it wasn't for Klay Thompson, they would have lost Game 6.
MVP of this series.
They wouldn't even been close in Game 6.
MVP of this series.
He was the only person keeping the game close. He broke a record for most three-pointers by one player in a playoff game.
If Klay doesn't go off in multiple third quarters, we're sitting here talking about the Thunder versus the Cavs coming up.
Yeah, the Thunder would have won Game 6. We wouldn't even got to a Game 7.
Steph Curry just happened to have a great Game 7. Came through in the clutch like he normally does.
That last three he hit with about 20 seconds left to make it a 10-point game. That was just the cherry on top of the sundae for that 3-1 deficit. They come back from the 3-1 deficit. They're the first team in the history of the NBA to come back from a 3-1 deficit in the Western Conference Finals.
Yes, in the Western Conference Finals, because the 1981 Celtics did it in the Eastern Conference Finals too.
Yes.
So I remember that. And with that being said, brings us to our next topic. Talk about Klay, talk about Steph. Are they the best backcourt of all time?
Shooting backcourt, I think.
Shooting backcourt, yes. Guaranteed. I'm sorry. You can look at their percentages from field goal range. I got some stats here in front of me. I mean, listen to this. I mean, Steph shoots at 47% from field goal, 44% from three.
That's crazy.
Now, I could probably look up some other numbers, but they're going to come close, but they're not going to match the degree of difficulty. So Klay also shoots 45 from field goal range and 42 from three. Now, what do you mean when you say degree of difficulty, Chris, when we're talking about the shooting backcourt? Because I'm going to get back to the best backcourt in a second. I mean degree of difficulty. Off the dribble. Anybody who has played this game of basketball knows that off the dribble is the hardest thing to do with a defender in your face, pulling up off a UTEP two-step or in between the legs, behind the back cross, double cross, in and out cross, whatever you got for the NBA moves, pulling up step backs, whatever have you, off spin moves like Klay Thompson and Steph Curry do, fading away, falling away over a double team after a pick and roll. Whatever you got, they got it. I mean, it don't matter.
I've been watching basketball for 25 years. I've never seen a human being shoot a basketball from his hip like Steph Curry does. He will take it. He has the quickest release I've ever seen.
Quickest release you've ever seen, better than Ray Allen's.
Yes, the quickest release ever. I've never seen
off the dribble.
I've never seen a human being take the ball and just keep off the dribble, come off a screen, shoot it, swish.
And just in case you forgot, pundits out there, media members, whatever have you, when you say you've seen Reggie Miller, when you say you've seen Ray Allen, when you say you've seen even Rick Barry or all these great shooters you're talking about, Jerry West, and yes, I can take it back that far, to be honest with you. I look up game highlights. I am a basketball Benny. You should ask around. But with that being said, it doesn't matter. Those guys were not doing it with the degree of difficulty. Not only do these guys do it off the catch, and they don't even have to be square to do it off the catch. They don't have to even be square to the rack, even though their mechanics are sound. They do it off the dribble, or however you want to give it to them. It doesn't even matter.
It was so crazy watching that. Watching game 7. In Game 7, I saw Klay Thompson shoot a three. And it was probably, I swear to you,
30 feet out?
About 32 feet out.
30 feet out. They make it look so easy.
And he drilled it. I mean, he absolutely drilled it. It wasn't even close. It wasn't like one of those ones that rolled in or bounced in. It just went right in.
So you know what, Brandon? I actually went on a tear, did a lot of research for myself, and I'm not thinking about the best backcourts in the NBA right now because it's obvious that Steph and Klay are the best backcourt in the NBA. It's not even close.
Not even close.
So with that being said, I'm thinking about some of the great backcourts that have come through the 90s and a little bit of the 80s era.
Okay.
Because I'm not going to count the 70s for right now because people will say we didn't watch it, we didn't get to see it. We came up in the 80s, even though it was 88. So we've seen that because we know our history, and we know about the 90s, of course, because we got to see that in the 2000s. So when I'm thinking of great backcourts, I'm thinking of this, and we'll go down the list here. Drexler, Clyde the Glide Drexler, and Terry Porter.
That's a heck of a backcourt.
Portland Trailblazers, heck of a backcourt. Got stats on them. 8 All-Star appearances for Clyde the Glide, 2 for Terry Porter. You're talking about 6'3" and 6'7" matchup. Tough to guard. 2 championship appearances, even though they lost to the Bulls and the Pistons respectfully. And we're talking about just an awesome backcourt to have. That was great together with those Portland Trailblazers.
Probably was one of the most wasted opportunities. Such a good team, and they weren't able to get it done in crunch time.
No. But they did run into another. They ran into another backcourt that I'm going to mention as well. Isaiah Thomas and Joe Dumars. Isaiah Thomas, one of the best defensive backcourts you're ever going to see. A great scoring backcourt as well. Multiple All-Star appearances, 8 and 4 respectively between the two. And you got 2 championships, both Hall of Famers.
Yeah, Dumars actually was just as big a part of those 2 titles as Isaiah Thomas was.
Because they forget he goes off in a lot of those games and helps them win.
Yeah.
He could create off the dribble himself. He could score just like Isaiah Thomas, probably one of the most underrated, if not top 3 to top 5 best point guards of all time, even though he was left off that Olympic team.
Yeah, and he probably should have been on that team.
Yes.
But, I believe, I might be talking out of my rear end.
Go ahead.
I believe Joe Dumars was the MVP of that 1990 NBA Finals.
Can't really remember. We're going to have to check that stat later. We'll probably have it when we come back, but I'm going to check it out for you. Don't worry about that.
Yeah.
But when we go to another backcourt, it's tops in our era, so to speak, Tony Parker and Manu Ginobili. 4 championships together, 6 All-Star appearances between Tony Parker and 2 for Manu Ginobili. Probably one of the most underrated backcourts, but one of the best backcourts.
Ginobili
when it comes
has
to
2?
Yeah, no, Ginobili actually has 4. He came in with that championship. Oh, you talking about All-Star appearances? Yes. Remember,
Wow.
he comes off the bench.
Yeah, that's true.
So he doesn't get a lot of the recognition he deserves. But as far as creating off the dribble, introducing more of the mainstream Euro step, Tony Parker with that awesome mid-range off the dribble, their abilities to catch and shoot and get to the rack and score, they're one of the best backcourts of all time.
Yeah, and the thing is, championship-wise, the backcourts you've mentioned, they're the most successful because they have 4 titles. But if Curry and Thompson were to win the NBA championship this year, they'd be able to do something that those 2 guys never did, and that's win back-to-back NBA championships.
Exactly. Because Spurs have never won back-to-back NBA championships. They just had a dynasty.
Yeah, I mean, you had 93, 03, 05, 07, and then you had 2014.
Which hurts me that it brings me to my next backcourt.
Which backcourt's that?
John Stockton and Jeff Hornacek.
Yeah, that was a good one.
Even though Jeff Hornacek has no All-Star appearances and John Stockton has 5, Jeff Hornacek has been a member of the 50, 40, 90 club almost every year that he's played basketball, and that is impressive.
He was I thought he was an undervalued player for the Utah Jazz. He was a big reason why they went to those finals.
Big reason, but they just happened to run into the Bulls twice.
Yeah, that's tough.
Yeah.
That's tough. That 97 Bulls team was just as good as the 96 Bulls team. Yeah. The 98 Bulls team wasn't as good. They were older, but they had that experience.
You just need to tell John Stockton not to pass it to Karl Malone in those waning seconds so Michael Jordan doesn't steal it.
Yeah, Karl Malone was not very good in crunch time.
Never, because he couldn't shoot free throws either.
Nope.
Took about 10 seconds to shoot them.
He's
been called for it before.
Yeah. Well, you know what Scottie Pippen told him in Game 1 of the '97 Finals? He said the mailman doesn't deliver on Sundays. He missed both free throws. And Michael Jordan hit the game winner in Game 1 of '97 Finals.
And then you have probably one of our favorite backcourts of all time, given that we're Laker fans, even though it's very one-sided, and they'll probably fall as I'd say top 10 backcourts of all time. It's very one-sided. You got Magic Johnson and Byron Scott. You got those backcourts. Now, Byron Scott, don't get me wrong, great role player. That's all he'll ever be. Good coach, underrated coach in that regard. Magic Johnson, though, that's how great it can be one-sided, because Magic Johnson being the triple-double machine, being a finals MVP, being a 3-time MVP himself, 3 titles between these teams as well, 8 All-Star appearances, probably cut short because of the AIDS announcement, but
yeah, it's no telling. I think they would have if he never would have been diagnosed with AIDS or HIV.
Yeah,
I really think that they probably would have kept going to the NBA Finals.
Exactly.
I think they would have gotten bad. That '91 Laker team was pretty good.
Yeah,
that was a pretty good team, but that Bulls team was just so young and so
hot.
Good.
They were on.
Yeah,
and they were ready to win.
Yeah, they swept the Pistons. Nobody was going to be in their way.
And then, as far as my other backcourts that are going to get honorable mention, Reggie Miller and Mark Jackson. That's one of my personal favorite backcourts with the Indiana Pacers.
Very good.
Reggie Miller's coming off screen, scoring machine. forcing Michael Jordan to a Game 7. They have a 2000 NBA Finals appearance. You also have Penny and Nick Hardaway, Nick Anderson, underrated.
Very underrated.
4 All-Star appearances for Penny Hardaway, none for Nick Anderson. Very underrated until Nick Anderson goes to the finals, misses those 4 free throws. Then you don't get the same Nick Anderson after that.
Oh, yeah, 95. If they had to hit those free throws, if they would have hit those free throws Game 1, they might would have won the series.
Then you got Steve Nash and Michael Finley. Steve Nash, Michael Finley is still a great backcourt. 2 All-Star appearances between the two. And this is when they're playing together. Because Steve Nash, obviously, in that backcourt, he has two. I was about to say championships. He has 2 MVPs. So with that being said,
how he has 2 MVPs and Kobe had only 1?
I don't know.
That's the stupidest thing ever.
I'll never know.
That's
I'll never know.
So stupid.
But I say that to say that I mentioned all those backcourts. First of all, to toot my own horn to let you know how much I really know basketball for the most part and how much we really love it. Secondly, to show you that we're looking at bodies of work. We're not just looking at stats. We're looking at bodies of work. I'm looking at how you create off the dribble, how great of a player you are. And I'm not saying that Steph and Klay are the greatest backcourt of all time, even though they could go down as the greatest backcourt of all time. I'm just showing you how elite their backcourt is. How, when you think about great backcourts, it depends on the criteria you think about. I think our criteria goes as such. I think of creating off the dribble. It's harder for someone to create a shot off the dribble than it is for them to just catch and shoot, which is what Steph and Klay do all the time. Yeah, they create off the dribble and they catch and shoot. A lot of these guys I named in the backcourt with them, if they were shooting guards, they were just coming off screens and shooting, like a Reggie Miller, like a Nick Anderson. Like, players like that were just catching and shooting, or it was very one-sided. Terry Porter, not the greatest shooter in the world, because if you look up his three-point percentage, it was basically irrelevant. So, and Magic Johnson, not the greatest three-point shooter in the world, but probably the best point guard of all time.
Greatest facilitator ever.
Exactly. But look at the body of work. Look at great facilitators. Klay is an underrated facilitator. Steph is an awesome facilitator when you look at that.
When you have so many good three-point shooters, and he's the best.
Yes.
And he can throw it to other guys.
Yes.
Like Iguodala.
Look how
Barnes,
easy it creates space for everybody else.
Yeah.
Great rebounders between the two, even though Klay's numbers don't show it. He's done better lately.
Yes,
Steph is also a very underrated rebounder. A point guard is not required to get rebounds. Let's just be honest about it. And both of these guys average about 4 rebounds for their career. Also about 2 steals each, except for Klay Thompson averaging about 0.9, which is almost 1. So with that being said, you look at the collective body of work and you think about it, and what you're going to say, Chris, what about Michael Jordan and Ron Harper, or Michael Jordan and B.J. Armstrong? Look at Ron Harper. Look at B.J. Armstrong. Great role players, but they're not exceptional all-stars it's so one-sided with that.
But Michael Jordan and B.J. Armstrong were a really, really good backcourt in that 91-93
But what was B.J. Armstrong required to do? Bring the ball up court maybe and knock down an open shot.
Yeah, and tell you, he hit some big shots.
Exactly.
Did you remember that 1993 Knicks Bulls series?
Yeah, I definitely remember that 93.
That was probably the biggest threat they've ever had when they got down 0-2 against the Knicks. They came back, and remember the Game 5 where they blocked?
Yeah.
They blocked, I think, 4 consecutive shots that would have tied the game.
Yeah.
And they ended up winning.
Yeah.
That just shows, they actually would have won the game. Then they ended up winning 4-2. That just shows you how good that Bulls team was.
It does, even though Brandon's getting off topic from our subject right now. We're getting nostalgic.
That's fine.
Yeah, but I got a lot more subjects, so we ain't got that much time. NBA Finals makes up for it, which
it makes me nostalgic.
I'm going to go to commercial now. We'll talk about the NBA Finals because we just spent about a good 10 minutes on the best backcourts of all time, which you just might see Steph and Klay go down after this NBA Finals matchup coming up, which we'll talk about for the last couple of minutes. Stay tuned. 6 Man.
Loan specialist. Usually that's someone who fights for your signature then sells your loan to Never Never Land, never to speak with you again. At Martinsville First Savings Bank, we don't sell our loans, and we're locally owned and operated, so all decisions are made at 25 West Church Street in Uptown Martinsville. We've been serving the South Side since 1924, proof that serving you remains our focus. For more information, call 276-638-8771 or visit martinsvillefirst.com. FDIC insured, equal housing lender.
At Memorial Hospital of Martinsville in Henry County, we understand the power of home, knowing that Memorial Hospital brings the latest technology and the best medical professionals together for you, our families, friends, and neighbors. Right here in Martinsville, it's sometimes the best medicine. When you need cardiac care, time is critical. Our expert cardiologists are just moments away, meaning better outcomes for you and your heart. The best in care, the closeness of family and friends. That's the power of home.
Have you ever been so busy that you neglected your car? Stop by one of our 2 locations for a free 21-point inspection. We offer full-service oil changes, tire rotations, radiator flushes, and complete engine diagnostics. And don't forget, at Quick Lube, we offer a loyalty rewards program for every 6 full-service oil changes free. Quick Lube serving you with 2 locations, Ridgeway and Martinsville, or visit us online at quicklubeva.com.
Sign up for pharmacy text alerts today. It's a simple, easy way to refill your prescription. Simply go online and register at www.refillrx.com or download the app to your smartphone. Getting your prescriptions just got easier at Family Pharmacy in Stanleytown, serving our community since 1996.
Martinsville Family Dentistry would like to invite you to experience Zoom. Zoom is a customized whitening experience that's created to make you look your best, give you dynamic results with a whiter, brighter smile in less than an hour. Over 10 million people have benefited from Zoom professional whitening treatment and have experienced the way a radiant smile can improve their self-confidence and their overall happiness. Patients have reported 5 to 8 shades whiter smile in just an hour. Martinsville Family Dentistry is taking new patients, so stop our office at 25 Cleveland Avenue, Suite A in Martinsville.
The Smith River Sports Complex has the entire sports community talking.
Facilities are fantastic. I mean, no matter where you go in the country, you won't find as good of facilities as we got here in Martinsville.
Everyone is just so friendly and wants us to have a good time here.
I've never been on the field this great.
We run the Cardinal Cup lacrosse tournament here, and we absolutely love the venue. The fields are great, the amenities are great, the concessions.
Hey everyone, and welcome to Everything Outdoors, your one-stop shop for all of your yard, garden, and landscape needs. Certified Class A contractors and a family-owned and operated nursery, you can feel confident in knowing that you are working with the best. Here at the nursery, we offer everything from vegetables, flowers, trees, shrubs, and pottery to help you create your perfect outdoor space.
Project too big to do yourself? Let us help you out with a free estimate.
Whether your yard needs just a little pick-me-up or a complete overhaul, give us a call or stop by and see us at Everything Outdoors, 6211 Virginia Avenue in Bassett.
Back to the 6th man, don't have but so much time left, so let's talk the NBA Finals matchup between the Cavs and the Warriors. Thought about giving my predictions for the whole series, but Brandon talked me out of it. You can thank him, blame him, or whatever have you. But with that being said, we'll give our first 2 game predictions for this one, and we'll talk a little bit about the matchup. Now, the matchup, of course, is LeBron James versus Steph Curry. Who is the best in the NBA? But it's really not that simple, in all honesty. Because I think LeBron James is still the best player in the NBA.
Oh,
and that's by far. That's not even a question. Media just tries to portray this, and we are media too, but we do have our own opinions. And I do like to think I know a little bit about basketball more so than a lot of other media members. So with that being said, it's not that simple. LeBron James is going to be the best player in the league.
Oh, yeah.
But this is about who's the best team in the league.
Well, so I think that's a problem that LeBron James has had. Now, this is his 7th NBA Finals appearance.
Yes.
He's 2-4.
Yes.
And I'm going to go and tell you the truth. All but one of those series that he lost was his fault. All but one of those series was his fault, and that was 2011.
Yeah.
2007, 14, and last year.
He had no help in 2007. He wasn't about to win that one.
No, not at all. 2014, no help at all from anybody.
No help.
Last year, Everybody was injured.
Everybody was hurt, so he can chalk that up. Because he did his
awesome.
job. He was awesome.
He was great. Last year, was it last year?
We almost wanted to give him finals MVP like Jerry West in the first year.
They almost, I mean, it was close, too.
I mean, my goodness, averaging about 12 and 9 for the entire series?
He broke the record that Michael Jordan had in the 93 NBA Finals.
Like, we've never seen that before.
I never thought anybody would ever come close to those numbers.
But the matchups are as follows. You have Kyrie Irving, point guard, and he had a great game one, but then he was hurt with that knee. And so we have him going up against Steph Curry, of course, which I think it's going to be a great matchup. But after Steph Curry just went through Russell Westbrook, I don't think Kyrie has anything for him on that front.
Well, the thing is, I really think, and also Kevin Love. You mentioned Kevin Love last week.
Yes, it'll be Kevin Love and Draymond Green. We'll get to see that matchup a lot.
I think Draymond Green's going to eat him alive.
Yes, because he just went up against Kevin Durant.
And Draymond Green held his own.
And Steven Adams and Serge Ibaka. Yeah. So, I mean, and then you got Bogut, Thompson, and you'll see a lot of switches because the Warriors like to play a lot of small ball, so you'll see a lot of switches. And I really think it'll come down to, will Barnes step up?
Yeah, he stepped up last year.
Will Barnes step up?
Yeah, he stepped up last year. But
it's yet that we've seen a great game from Barnes because we didn't see. He had a horrible series against OKC.
Yeah, well, he didn't really shoot that much.
And then last year, Klay Thompson didn't have a good series against the Cavs.
No, he didn't.
So I think we're going to see the emergence of Klay. He has the confidence reeling. He is going to get off this series. I'm going to see Steph Curry in his natural. I think Steph Curry goes for MVP this time.
Well, it's funny because I actually think the way Klay Thompson is playing right now, I think Klay Thompson can get MVP.
Yes, he can.
I think Klay Thompson
He can be like Joe Dumars in 1989, which you brought up. You said 90, but you were still close. You were still on it.
Yeah, Isaiah Thomas was 1990 MVP. But the thing is, I really think there's a lot of guys. We'll see what Iguodala has.
Yeah.
Because remember what he did last year. He was great in that NBA Finals.
Honestly, I really think the Cavs, in all honesty, they don't want to get into a game of small ball like they did last year. They don't want to fall, even though they're ranked first in made threes because they've made 14 and the Warriors have made 12 per game. They do not want to get in a shooting matchup with the Warriors. This is what the Warriors do. They reel off the three-point line. They get wide open shots by Curry and Klay Thompson because of how they are, their presence on the floor that draws a double team. So they get that presence. And with that being said, you do not want to get in a three-point matchup with this team. Because, yes, J.R. Smith, Iman Shumpert, Kyrie Irving, Kevin Love, Channing Frye, LeBron James, they're all shooting well from three-point line.
They are.
But you still want to get into the paint. You still want to reel off LeBron James and Kyrie Irving, drive into the paint so that you get easier shots for these guys.
Well, they've got to. You know, the thing is, I really think that this is going to be a big difference between last year and this year.
Yeah.
I think LeBron James is not going to have as much pressure on him.
Well, he's not. He's not going to take the blame even if he loses, to be honest. It's going to be on Kevin Love and Kyrie Irving.
Yeah, I think he's really not going to have as much pressure to go out there and put up ungodly numbers, put up triple-double
But he still just might. But him putting up ungodly numbers will take away from his team.
Yeah,
will take away from the touches of Kyrie Irving and Kevin Love.
I think
that will hurt.
I think they'll hurt them. And, you know, it's funny. You mentioned something I was going to mention about three-point shooting. Cavs are a great three-point shooting team. But the Warriors make it an art form.
And the Warriors are a much better team this year. As you can see, they just came back from 3-1. You think they're not ready to play the Cavs?
Well, any team that comes back from that kind of deficit usually will have momentum.
Yeah.
They'll have momentum, and they'll go into the championship round, and they'll win.
They're going to let it fly. Only thing the Warriors need to do, come out with a sense of urgency. I can see this going down 4-0. If they came out with a sense of urgency. 4-1 at least, I'll give the Cavs credit, but I'm not going to give my predictions just yet. First two games, what you got, Brandon?
All right, well, tomorrow night's the game 1.
Yes.
That'll be at Oracle Arena in Golden State. I believe Golden State will win game 1, just like last year.
What you got for game 2?
Game 2, I think Cleveland's going to steal home court.
I'm going to go ahead and go out on a limb. I'll probably be wrong, but I just want to go ahead and just give it to the Cavs one time. 2-0 already. They get it. Golden State gets the wins. With that being said, we're going to end it on that note. We'll be back next week. Thank you for tuning into the Sixth Man. We forgot about Kevin Durant's free agency, but where should he go? But that's something and a topic for all summer, so don't even worry about that. He should stay, in all honesty, just to be real. And we'll talk about LeBron's legacy as we get through these finals and what it means if he'll win or if he lose, or is his legacy already predetermined? Stay tuned to the Sixth Man. We got more this summer. Martinsville Mustangs are playing. We'll keep you up on that. American Legion ball as well, just for your local action. But hey, this is our time to talk national topics. We'll get into some UVA and we'll get into some tech. Thank you for tuning in to the Sixth Man. Chris Draper, Brandon Burnett, love and God bless. We out.